Hit it, Phil.
Can it be the breeze that fills the trees with rare and magic perfume? Oh, no, it isn't the breeze. It's Jackson time. La, da, da, da.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I am joined by Kathy Fuller-Seeley, John Henderson.
Hello.
And Terry Phillips. Hey,
Hi there.
So we're going to try something new today. We're going to play the episode first for you guys. And then after the episode, we'll do our commentary piece where we chat all about the episode and everything. And that way we can do spoilers and all of that kind of thing, which I think will be fun. So we'll see. So in the show notes today, leave us notes if you like it better this way, where we air the show first and then us, or tell us that you like it the other way. We don't care, whatever way you like it best, but we just thought we'd try something new. So we'll see after the show. The Jack Benny show today, I should tell you at least that it's called Trip to Palm Springs, correct, folks? Yeah. And it's one of those, it's a filmed episode, a sitcom type episode. And it'll start off with Jack in front of the curtain, but then it'll flip to sitcom right after that. And we'll talk to you after the show. Enjoy.
The Jack Benny Program.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, here I am again. And I don't know whether you noticed it or not, but I'm wearing a different makeup. I just thought I'd try it out. This is the same makeup that all of the Italian movie stars are wearing. It's Max Factor's number 5, mixed with ravioli sauce. And it's very good, too. The only trouble with it is that if you stay under the hot lights for over 15 minutes, your face begins to look like a pizza. Anyway, before we go any further, I would like to do something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm going to, Huh? What's that? We can't? Oh, that's a shame. Excuse me, folks, but, you see, what I wanted to do was introduce the members of my orchestra to you. But, unfortunately, we have just lost visual contact with the Lincoln Heights jail. And, we had such a cute idea, too. You see, Sammy, the drummer, was going to play Nola on the iron bars. Well, anyway, we can do this stunt anytime within the next 90 days. Now, let's see. What else was I going to... I'm so tired tonight. But there's no excuse, of course, for my being tired, because last week I spent a few days in Palm Springs, and my trip didn't turn out exactly the way I had it planned. You see, I had a most unusual thing happen there. Let me tell you what it was. You see, last Monday was when I had planned to take this little vacation, and I was so anxious to get started that Rochester and I were up very early Monday morning.
Gee, I'm glad you woke me up early, Rochester. As soon as I finish breakfast, I'm going to start packing. We'll be on our way to Palm Springs.
Yeah?
Imagine me having breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning.
I had mine at 6.
Gosh, 6 o'clock in the morning. Rochester, how about some more coffee?
No, thanks. I've had plenty.
I mean me.
Oh! Hey, what? When you get to Palm Springs, are you going to do a show from there?
No, not this time. I'm just going to rest. Get in my trunks and jump in the pool and sit around in the sun. And you're going to take it easy, too, Rochester.
Me?
Yep. Every day it's work. And I don't know, what does it get us?
Nothing but money. I got plenty of nothing, you got plenty of money.
Oh, boy, am I looking forward to this trip.
Boss, as soon as you finish your coffee, we can get started packing.
I've had enough. I'm going to finish dressing.
Say, boss, are we taking Polly with us?
No, and I'm glad you reminded me. Look, Rochester, not a word about our trip to Palm Springs in front of Polly. You know how upset that parrot gets every time she sees us packing a bag. What?
I got you.
Hello, Polly.
Hello. Well, I better get out the bag and start to... Bag!
Rochester!
I'm gonna get the bag and put it on the vacuum cleaner and clean up your room.
That's right, the bag on the vacuum cleaner.
And when the bag is full, we can start for P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S.
P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S, vacuum cleaner.
That's right, Polly. That spells vacuum cleaner.
Boss, you'd better take Polly out of here or she'll see us packing.
Oh, she'll probably think we're just sending out some clothes to be pressed, you know.
I guess so. I'm sure glad you're staying at a place that's close to town this time.
Yeah, it will be convenient.
The last place we stayed at was so far out in the desert, a coyote had to bring your luggage in.
That wasn't a coyote, it was Lassie. And it wasn't my luggage, it was hers. She had the room next to me. So this time, we're going to live in one of the nicest places in P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S.
P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S, vacuum cleaner.
Well, I guess I got everything I need. Oh, look, I'll go in the other room and answer the phone and take Polly with me. Meanwhile, you put all the things in the bag. See? Come on, Polly. Come on with Daddy. Come on. Come on, Polly. Quiet, Polly. Hello?
Hello, Jack. This is Mary.
I'm going to pick you up in about 20 minutes.
Oh, that's why I called, Jack. I've decided to ride down to Palm Springs with Don Wilson.
Why? I thought you were going with me.
I'm not going to ride in that car of yours anymore. It's about time you got a new one.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Mary, I told you 1,000 times I'm going to trade it in as soon as I get a reasonable offer.
For that car?
Yes.
If they offer you a pair of shoes, take it.
All right. You go with Don Wilson, but I'll be there before you. You've heard the story of the tortoise and the hare, haven't you?
No, but if it's clean, you can tell it to me in Palm Springs.
Okay. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
I got the bags all packed. Shall I close them up?
I'm going in first, see if you forgot anything. I'm sorry, Polly, but this time you have to stay here. All right, all right. If you're lonesome, Daddy'll turn on the radio for you. I can get some music. There you are, Polly.
This musical program is being brought to you by the Blue Skies Trailer Village in Palm Springs, California. For information about our rates and facilities, just drop a postcard to the Blue Skies Trailer Village in Palm Springs. P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S. Palm Springs.
P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S, Palm Springs. Palm Springs. Palm Springs!
Polly, control yourself.
P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S, Palm Springs.
All right, calm down. I'll take you to Palm Springs. Rochester, I'll put the bags in the car. You put the dishes away, will you?
Oh, yes.
Come on, come on.
many, please?
Well, I don't know.
Well, we've still got 73 miles to go.
Yes, that's if we stick on the main highway. Say, mister.
Yeah?
Is this the only way to get to Palm Springs?
Oh, no. There are several ways. I would suggest that from here, you head straight for Saturn, turn right to Mars, make a left to Jupiter, then head for the moon, and then...
Hey, wait a minute. Mars, Jupiter, the moon?
Yeah. Ain't this a rocket ship?
Just put in some gas, will you?
Ethyl or regular?
Regular.
Ethyl. Better make it ethyl.
Look, Rochester, the last time we came through here, we went pretty fast. What did we use then?
Nothing. We'd lock bumpers with a Greyhound bus.
Wait a minute. What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I thought you had a windshield.
Here, let me wipe the bugs off your glasses.
Look, never mind. Well, have you made up your mind whether you want regular or ethyl?
Regular.
Okay.
The water and oil's fine.
Or as long as the hood is up, check my battery.
Okay. Looks okay to me.
How many?
I'll tell you when to stop. Let me know how many you're putting in.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
What happened to the bells?
What do you want, gas or music?
How much do I owe you?
Let's see, 10 gallons, that'll be $2.80.
280. Here, wait a minute. There.
Thank you. And the next time you pass this gas station, please do.
All right, wise guy. Come on, Rochester, start the car.
Yes, sir.
Rochester, start it again, will you?
Yes.
Well, what are you staring at? This car will get us there. You've heard of the story of the tortoise and the hare, haven't you?
No, but if you're going to tell it, keep your voice down. My wife is in the office.
Not that kind of a story. Come on, Rochester.
Yes.
Say, Bud, which way to Palm Springs?
The Palm Springs? Well, you... Oh, just follow us.
Oh, boss, calm down. The rest of the bags will be here in a minute.
Good, good.
Hello, Rochester.
Hello, Mr. Wilson.
Hi, Jack.
Hey, Don, how'd you know when I got in?
I saw the manager parking your car
Yeah, where'd he put it?
in front of another hotel down the street.
Oh, well, as long as it's handy.
Hey, you sure didn't waste any time getting into your swim trunks.
Not me. I'm not going to waste a minute of this vacation.
Well, I'm going out and get a little something to eat.
Okay.
Springs, Palm Springs.
That's right, Polly. It's Palm Springs.
Here's the rest of your bags.
Oh, let me give you a hand with that.
All right, get that one.
There we are.
Here's 2.
Yeah, I got those.
Here's one.
Okay, thanks.
Boy, here's a tip for you.
Gee, a dime. Now I can have a chiropractor put my spine back in place.
If you haven't got health insurance, it's your own fault. Rochester, finish unpacking the bags, and I'm going swimming.
But aren't you going to wait for Miss Livingston? When she phoned, she said she'd be here in 20 minutes.
I'm not waiting for anyone. I'm going right in that pool.
Thank you. Hey, bud. How long before the pool's filled so we can go swimming?
We'll have it all cleaned up and refilled by morning.
Well, here I go, Rochester. See you later.
Well, don't just stand there. Do something.
Now try to relax, boss. The doctor should be here any minute now.
P-A-L-M-S-P-R-I-N-G-S, Palm Springs.
No, shut up.
That must be the doctor now. Well.
Hi, Rochester.
Hello, Miss Livingston.
Jack, instead of going swimming, I thought that maybe with Jack.
Oh.
Jack, what happened to you?
It's a long story. Rochester, you tell her.
I don't think I'm allowed to. You sold the rights to 20th Century Fox. Disney turned it down. Thought it was too fantastic.
I don't know what he's talking about. Now, what really happened, Jack?
Well, all right. I came to Palm Springs to get the sun and go swimming. I didn't want to lose a minute of it. So I ran out of the room, jumped off the diving board.
And there was no water in the pool.
Man.
All right, so I made up a joke. Now tell me what happened.
You didn't make up a joke. That's exactly what happened.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Rochester, get me some more ice cubes, will you, for this?
Yes, sir.
You know, Mary, they had a lot of nerve. Draining that pool without telling anyone.
Well, it's your own fault. You're always in such a hurry. The last time we came to Palm Springs, you did the same thing.
Well, that was different.
Oh, that's right. This time you had your trunks on.
Miss Livingston, if you're trying to make me laugh, forget it.
Oh, I'll get it, Jack.
How do you do? I'm the house doctor.
Oh, yes, doctor. Come on in. Jack, it's the doctor.
It's about time you got here. We called you 2 hours ago.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't have my license then.
What kind of a doctor are you?
Oh, I'm an MD and a chiropractor.
Well, before you work on me, I want to know your rates. Are you expensive?
Oh, no. I just put a bellboy's spine back in place, and all he had was a dime.
I know.
Hey, now, open your mouth.
Say, this tastes good.
You should have tasted it when the popsicle was on it.
Doctor, is it serious?
Well, that all depends. In cases like this, there are many contributing factors. Natural vitality, physical strength, recuperative powers, age.
Keep going. There must be something in his favor.
Mary.
Well, I think I'd better examine you very thoroughly. After all, jumping into an empty swimming pool could be an awful shock on the system. First, I'll listen to your heart.
My heart?
Yes. Oh, there it is. That fall really jarred you, didn't it?
Doctor, why don't you just examine me and be quick about it?
Now, don't be impatient. There's no need to hurry. After all, you've heard the story of the tortoise and the hare.
I thought I did, but there's a new version going around.
Shall I leave the room?
Mary, don't be funny.
Well, I guess that does it for now.
Doctor, Mr. Benny came to Palm Springs to get the sun. How long do you think you'll have to be in bed?
Well, that's hard to say. I'll be back later to take some x-rays, and then we'll know. In the meantime, though, we must be sure that his blood pressure stays up. So, every hour, give him this.
What is it?
My bill.
You know, Jack, I just can't understand it. Every time we go someplace, something happens to you.
It does not.
It doesn't, eh? How about the time we went to Yellowstone Park? Out of thousands of people, only you had to be looking down into Old Faithful when it went off.
Mary. What are you laughing at?
Kept you up in the air 20 minutes.
Steve took the crease out of my pants and everything.
Here's the ice cubes, boss.
Well, Jack, I think I'll go out and get some sun. I'll see you later. Take care of yourself.
You know, Rochester, when I jumped off that diving board and saw there was no water in the pool, I came so close to getting killed that my whole life flashed before me.
Your whole life?
Yeah. I see the time when I graduated Waukegan High. And then I remember the days when I went to the University of Illinois and I was an all-American football player. But then I felt my life wouldn't be complete unless I left something to posterity. So I entered the field of science and discovered the formula for nuclear fission.
Boss, is that the life that flashed before you?
Rochester, when you're that close, you cheat a little. I'm going to take a nap.
Okay. I don't know why he wants to sleep. He's got nothing left to dream about.
Would you like some more coffee?
No, I don't want any more.
Well, you look much better today. How do you feel?
How do I feel? I come to Palm Springs for the sun and to go swimming, and I have to spend 4 days in bed. And you ask me, how do I feel?
Well, you don't have to bite my head off, you know.
Mary, I'm not mad at you. It's that publicity man of mine. He can think up some of the most ridiculous things you've ever heard of. And then when something really happens, there isn't one word about me in the papers.
Jack, it was in all the papers.
It was? Well, I didn't see it.
I bought them all up. I was ashamed. Come in.
Oh, Mary.
Hi, Jack.
Jack. Jack, I'm terribly sorry about your accident. I hope it isn't anything serious. How long before they let you out of bed?
Well, that depends on the doctor. He took some x-rays. He's coming back today. Incidentally, Don, if... Don, aren't you a little too heavy to be playing tennis?
No, not at all, Jack. As a matter of fact, my size is a great advantage.
How?
Well, I just stand in the middle of a court, and if the ball goes on either side of me, it's out of bounds.
Don, either side of you is out of Palm Springs.
Oh, Jack, stop picking on Don's size. I happen to know he's losing weight.
Oh, sure. I'm losing weight.
Well, he is. This morning I saw him get on a penny scale, and it's the first time it only cost him 3 cents.
Well, congratulations.
I'll get it. I have to go anyway.
I'll go with you, Don.
All right.
How do you do?
Oh, Jack, it's the doctor.
Well, how's our little patient today?
Doctor, I've been waiting for you.
Yeah, I know. We had to look at your x-ray. This is my assistant.
No. My x-rays, how do they come out?
Well, the swelling hasn't gone down yet. Your case was so unusual. That's why I brought my assistant along to take a look. Now, hold still.
Well, hello again. This is Buck Benny speaking. I hope you enjoyed the episode you just saw, and we're going to chat about it for a while. So, this was a filmed episode. I like this one. It's got Mary on it. What are you going to do? I tend to love Mary episodes. So, this season has just been, for a Mary fan, this has been a great season. She's been on. I feel like she's been on half the episodes. It's probably less than that, but she's been on a lot anyway. So let's just go around and find out what people thought of the episode. John, what did you like about this one?
I loved this episode. I feel like this is another mountaintop episode, like top 10. It starts out a little slow with the monologue. It didn't really hit or anything, but once they got to the actual, sitcom or whatever you call it, it just built and got funnier and funnier. I loved the stuff with the parrot and Rochester. I loved the gas station part. That was my favorite. It was so funny. And what else was there? The Don Wilson. Oh, Frank Nelson. That was great. So we can get more into it. But yeah, as a whole, I loved the episode.
Yep. And then the whole parrot piece, that was fun too. I mean, there's a lot in here that was fun stuff. I agree. Top tier episode. And I would agree too that I don't know why they could have just cut off that beginning and just extended a couple of the bits in there, and they wouldn't even needed the curtain piece where Jack stands in front of the curtain and does the monologue. They could have just gone right into the episode, because they did that with the uranium one. It went right into it. I don't think it had a curtain piece, if I remember right. But anyway, that's what it was. So, Terry, what are your thoughts on it, or did you notice anything you want to point out?
Well, first of all, I thought that John was kind when he said that the monologue started off kind of slow. It was so slow that I had to look twice.
How slow was it?
I had to look twice to be sure it was actually Jack Benny. And this is what we've talked about before. When he doesn't have a live audience, his timing tanks.
Yeah.
The master of comic timing without an audience, it's just not the same. And I don't know whether he was tired, whether there was some technical problem and they were redoing things, whatever was going on. The beginning, if you weren't a Jack Benny fan, I think the beginning would have driven you away from this episode. But I'm glad I stuck with it because it was so funny.
Yeah.
And John, the gas station segment was great, and there's a surprise in there. The guy who played the second gas station attendant was Johnny Silver from Guys and Dolls. And he played Benny South Street, I think was his character's name.
Oh, okay.
So this was kind of a bit part for him.
Yeah.
But he was great in it, and I don't think there was a bad performance once they got to the sitcom part of this. I thought it was tremendous.
Well, let me go on the gas station part for just a second, because I think it's an important piece. It's funny, it's great. I mean, having Mel Blanc there and everything, it's just brilliant for the comedy piece of it. But on top of it, the educational piece of us actually experiencing what it was like going to a gas station at the time, somewhat. The fact that they had all those guys that were taking care of you and you weren't having to do anything, and the whole ding thing, every time it would be a gallon it would ding. I mean, that
was great.
That really would happen too. I remember the dinging and stuff at our local with when we would get gas when I was a kid. It was just really educational in a way. And then that whole playing with the ding, it was one of the I've seen them do that, or certainly they did that on the radio shows. They did it on maybe a live television show at some point. I swear I've seen this before, but it was played up slightly differently. Oh, it's probably also from that. There's a commercials that Jack's in where he's going to get gas and things. So,
and we've been calling it a gas station. Yeah. It was called a service station.
Service station,
because there are very few places left in America where people don't pump their own gas. There are a couple of 2 or 3 states where it's not allowed. But yeah, in most of the country at that time, you got service and they would fill your tires with air, and they would check under the hood and top up the oil and clean your windshield, and then they'd work on your car.
Yeah.
Sorry, I needed.
And Jack got 10 gallons of gas for $2 or something. I think it was. It was like
28 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that was expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking about the part with the dings. I don't remember ever hearing that before. Maybe I have and I forgot. But with the visuals, it's also different because you see him waiting and anticipating the next ding, which is great. Yeah. And then the part with the windshield where he sprays Jack in the face. It's I thought that was so funny, and I thought, wow, that's something that you could really only do on television. But my wife was in the other room listening in, and she was laughing out loud on that without even seeing it. So obviously it came across just, with just the audio. And my son was sitting beside me while I was watching it. And at that point, he's like, he sounds like Bugs Bunny. I was like,
that's great.
That's Mel Blanc. Yeah.
John, I think you and I think the four of us have and our families have a very specific attitude toward audio entertainment, because we're used to listening to old radio shows.
Yeah.
But someone once taught me that if you're producing a television program or television news or whatever it is, that you're not doing a good job if someone can listen without looking at it and get the full value from it. And I think this is an example of that. They really took advantage of the medium, because there was a lot of stuff in this, even though we did appreciate it, we could appreciate it by not looking at the screen. It was so much better to see there were a lot of visual gags in this episode and in the next one that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
A lot of visual stuff.
And I've heard the same thing about if you turn on the volume on your TV, if the show's done well, you should be somewhat lost as to what's going on because you need the visual element. Otherwise, you're creating a radio show and filming it. Sort of thing.
But Jack, all during the first half of the 50s, was being dogged by critics who would say, oh, it's just a photographed radio show. So I think you all are right. What they sometimes felt they needed to make extra effort to layer in the visual gags so that you wouldn't. So,
and yet these were his same writers, right? From the radio era. So they obviously learned.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Jack.
He brought a couple extras in for television when he went to television. He kept the same writers but added more. Yeah. So a couple that specialized in television, I think. Kathy, what else did you notice?
Well, I was really struck by this memories of the radio broadcast and the television broadcast. The very first Jack Benny radio episode I purchased of my own when I was like 11, was actually the radio version of the trip to Palm Springs. And I made my little brothers listen to it with me. And so PALMSPRINGS was a family saying for years and years and years. So it was great to encounter it on this one, as they said, because it personally meant so much to me in my Jack Benny journey. I was intrigued at the gas station part by having Mel Blanc there in person. They didn't start the starting up of the Maxwell was different. Because he's there, you can't, and he's not going. It seemed to me that they relied more on bangs and shoots and those mechanical noises of the Maxwell than the sputtering engine that we heard on the radio show. I also thought it was wonderful that they used an actual Maxwell with the radiator cap that was that, because we know, I don't know if it's the one that Laura Leibowitz currently owns. I know they had to use several, and hers was used on at least one television show. And how many Maxwells were around Southern California at that point, I don't know.
Yeah, that was so fun. And it's, they reference filling the water because you would have to put water in the radiator. And then they talk about the battery, checking the battery, and he shows the little. That's so funny.
Well, and one part we haven't mentioned at all, the part at the beginning, towards the beginning, where it has Rochester in it, and they're wanting to pack the bags, and they're concerned that Polly will hear what they say. I mean, that whole bit with Polly and them spelling it out, and then the radio announcer spelling it and saying that spells Palm Springs or whatever, and then Polly catching on to it. That was fun, and that was funny.
Yeah,
And
I love that they used a real parrot, and it was done really well. I know in some of the shows they've got just like a dummy in there or something like that. So it was great to see a real parrot, and that's the advantage of being able to do a filmed episode. You can get the close-ups and stuff.
Yeah, and you can do another take if the parrot's not doing what you want it to do and things. Yeah, because I don't know how they got it to freak out when it was supposed to freak out and everything, but it went right along with the
wait around all day, especially trained parrot. Well, I also wanted to mention for our folks at home that it's so interesting, and I'm ever so indebted to Laura Leibowitz's magnificent volumes that describe each episode. And I don't know in this case whether Laura was able to see the original or whether she's going from the script. But there are some things that in the version we have to view today, yay, that were cut for time, cut to be able to put in more commercials. So it turns out that in the original, in the complete version, that Jack and Rochester and Polly sing the Light Up the Lucky, it's Light Up Time.
Oh, really?
Song while they're driving down the road. And that unfortunately was cut, but you can imagine.
Yeah, because this is the version for syndication. And of course, in syndication, one, they need to cut parts of it out for time, right? And then two, you're not going to have any of the ads that you built in. You're not going to give free advertising to someone, and certainly not to a cigarette company, because they can't even do that. They'd be in trouble.
We're lucky that some other episodes have at least part of of like the sportsmen singing the regular song before they parody it.
Correct. Usually the sportsmen often come on and sing at least one verse of the regular song before it gets crazy and goes into the commercial piece. And so they can keep that piece and then cut it from there. I'm sure that sometimes it kind of works and sometimes it just seems too jerky to cut it off at that point. But anyway, what's lovely
and another thing,
in the next episode, we do get the sportsman and we get a great song by the sportsman in the next one. But go ahead.
Yeah. Just this Laura mentions that after the bucket, that's since we can spoiler alert that I believe the end was flipping back the sheets to see that that Jack's still attached to the bucket. But this one says time shift to Jack and Rochester on the way home from Palm Springs in the car. They locked bumpers with the Jaguar. And so I assume they're being towed on the way home by the faster.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That Jaguar bit was great too, to see like the visual contrast and have them zoom in and that really made the joke work really well. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and to see the guy in the Jaguar with the helmet on, you're like, okay, you're being cautious. That's good. But I was just saying that it's too bad they cut off that M piece then, because it wouldn't have been, it would seem like it would have just been a few seconds of them. It wouldn't have been a long piece or anything, but who knows?
But
time is time. You got to go to the exact
gotta get those commercials in.
Yeah.
We haven't mentioned Mary. It's always great to see Mary in an episode.
Yes. And it was nice to see Mary. Now, Mary, let's see. She wasn't driving with them, was she, in the car?
No, she says she goes separately with Don.
Right.
Okay. Because she was in the middle of the episode essentially, right? So, well,
Terry's back. We'll have to.
He's changing constantly, and you never know what's going on with Terry.
We had a power outage right in the middle of our conversation.
Wow, I can't believe that.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just glad you came back. Good deal. We were just discussing the Rochester bit with Polly at the beginning, and that was really well done and fun, and that they were trying to not mention Palm Springs to Polly and that whole piece about them having to try and placate their bird, and then apparently there was a part at the end that they cut off where they were going to be hooked to the sports car that was on here,
driving on the way back,
and kind of he was towing them along or something. I'm sure the joke would have been, oh, we're making really good time or something, and then you would see them hooked to the sports car. So but that would be great. So Terry, was there anything else you wanted to mention in this episode or anything?
I wanted to go back for a moment to the gas station bit. I couldn't remember it, and it's funny, I was about to look it up while we were talking. there's a reference, there's a sign at the gas station. I think it might be the name of their producer or maybe the director of the show, Ralph Levy.
Yeah.
And I think the gas station was called Levy's gas station.
Okay, that makes sense.
I love when they put these little, what do they call them, Easter eggs?
Easter eggs, yep. I love that too.
Episodes.
And I love that they were doing it way back when. So that's great.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I wanted to mention, if you haven't brought it up yet, was that Benny Rubin was in this episode.
Oh, that's right. Benny Rubin was in it. And I love seeing Benny Rubin. He's great.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
And we haven't even mentioned Frank Nelson, who is always great.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that whenever you get an episode, he's got such a great cast and cast of, character actors that they all do great with whatever material they have. But a standout episode like this has really great material. And I would say, some of the jokes from Frank Nelson, like the license joke, I didn't have my license, and the recurring joke of the tortoise and the hare, I thought it was all really top notch. So I think that's what made this episode so great.
Yeah. Well, and that's why Jack's timing was off at the beginning. He was kind of preempting, showing ahead of time, laying some foundation for being the tortoise. So he was the tortoise. Yeah, his timing was a little off. Speaking of timing and things, I wasn't thrown off at all by the timing of this episode being filmed and having a laugh track thrown in there and things. You guys tend to notice that more than I do. I guess they did a pretty good job with it.
Again, only in the monologue,
That's right. I agree
especially when they edited that piece with Jack, the close-up. I
Right.
thought that was really odd too. But for the actual sitcom, I didn't notice. Yeah.
And John, don't you think that's because he was just working to the camera at the beginning, whereas in the sitcom part of the show, he had the cast with him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, it wasn't solo timing, it was timing with other people. Yeah. No, I can see that. No, the timing issues that we've had in the past with filmed episodes, the early filmed episodes, this season I haven't had that so much. We've had some really good filmed episodes, and so yeah, I've enjoyed them. And like I said before, I wish they would have done a few more of these sitcom type episodes. You're going to see this season and next season, the 6th season, the 7th season, you're going to see a lot of it, and then they start to not come along as often.
I wonder if it's because they spent more time on it. I think you mentioned that they filmed it in the summer, so they had a lot more time to work on it, and they were only on the air every other week, so they weren't like cramming to get everything in.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to find, like, when did it start filming and when did it end filming? Did they do some of these episodes over a 2-week time frame, and so they really could go at a leisurely pace and really work out the timing really well, or did they try and cram them into a week still?
Yeah, but a lot of it, when it comes to the timing that you really is jarring, it has to do with more the editing than the filming, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, especially when you're cutting in laugh tracks and stuff.
Right. But to make the comedy work, it's like you got to have good timing with each other and have lots of rehearsals to really get this stuff coming out correctly. So, and Jack likes his rehearsals. We know that. He's mentioned a lot of times. Anyway, but we'll let you guys go. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Are we good?
Okay. I think we got it.
I think we'll let it go because I'm afraid Terry, we're going to run out of battery in his phone or something. So I'm going to have enough to do our next episode. So again, in the show notes, tell us whether you want us at the beginning or whether you like us being at the end like today. It's just kind of an experiment we're trying and just wondering what people like better. So there you go. Enjoy. Thank you.
Mr. Benny here. I brought the quartet over to run through their number for our next show.
No, but he ought to be back in just a moment.
Oh, I see. Well, look, fellas, as long as we have to wait a little bit for Jack, why don't we run that number just once more, and then you can be sure you've got everything right, huh? All right. Okay, come on over here, Rochester. Sit down.
The sweet, sweet, the memories you gave me. You can't beat the memories you gave me.
Take one fresh and tender kiss.
The memories you gave me.
Add one stolen night of bliss.
The memories you gave me. One girl, one boy, some grief, some joy.
Memories are made of this.
The memories you gave me.
Don't forget a small moonbeam.
The memories you gave me.
Folding lightly with a dream.
The memories you gave me.
Our lips without time.
It was a happy day when you came away to tell me memories are made of this. You can't beat the luckies you gave for me. They're all me, the luckies you gave for me. You can't beat the luckies you gave for me. They're all me, took the luckies you gave for me. You can't beat the luckies you gave for me.
Toes, each golden leaf just right.
The luckies you gave for me.
That's right, we'll care.
It was a happy day when you came away to tell me.
Luckies,
The luckies you gave
made
for
of
me.
them.
The luckies you gave for me. Then surely we must add all the pleasure we have had. Each time we puffed on a lucky, a better tasting lucky. Smart smokers all agree on an LSMFT. Oh, what a smoke it's made in Kentucky.
20 smokes you
The luckies you gave for me.
each one perfect as a man.
The luckies you gave for me.
Each top will please
The finest cigarette, it's the best that comes the better.
love. Each night are made of them.
Commercials on the old street.
Small, lucky's right today. Like a lucky strike today.